Here we go, the moment we've all been waiting for. Game 5 of the American League Divisional Series. Which team will advance to the next round of the postseason, and which team will be eliminated? The Guardians and the Blue Jays battle it out for one final game to determine the winner of this postseason series. Last episode was an improbable Game 4. We were down 4-0 and getting no hit into the bottom of the 5th when we tied the game. Then we were down 7-4 in the bottom of the 8th. Led by a 3-run homer by Ketel Marte, and then in the 9th inning, a walk-off home run with 2 outs by Josh Naylor. It was a really exciting game the entire time, but we barely were able to survive, and that'll bring us to a Game 5 back in Toronto at the Rogers Center against the Blue Jays. Obviously, the offense hasn't been great, although it was a lot better in Game 4. The offense did start Game 4 off very poorly. As I said, we were no hit through 4 innings. But unlike the first 3 games, when we did get runners on base, we really capitalized. In the top of the 5th, we were able to drive a bunch of guys in. And even though the offense is struggling, hopefully we can carry the momentum into Game 5. We are facing off against a not-so-great starting pitcher, which we'll talk about in a second. And hopefully we can continue to draw a ton of walks. We have 30 through 4 games, which is by far the best in all of baseball through the postseason. We haven't had a ton of guys step up to the plate other than really Ketel Marte and Josh Bell, but hopefully that can change here in Game 5. As for the pitching, we've got some decisions to make. Aaron Civale started and struggled in Game 4. Who do we put on the mound here for Game 5? This is Adbert Alzolay's scheduled start, but maybe we want to go with somebody better. Shane Bieber is certainly an option, but he has pitched 12 innings in this series. He pitched 5 innings in the bullpen in Game 3. He pitched 2 more in Game 4, so his arm is probably going to fall off if he pitches any more in the ALDS. Tristan McKenzie is another option as well. He has not pitched since Game 2. We could also look towards the bullpen and just have a total bullpen day. A lot of options here for the Cleveland Guardians as we get to the 5th and final game of the ALDS. The winner is headed to the ALCS, where they will face off against either the Houston Astros or the New York Yankees. Nate Pearson warming up for the Blue Jays. We'll talk about him in a moment. The opposing starter, Camilo Doval, out of the bullpen, making his first Major League start ever. We'll go into a little bit more detail in a minute on why we ended up choosing Camilo Doval to be our starting pitcher today. Let's take a look at both lineups, 1-9. Cleveland's got their best 9 on the field because, well, this is the most important game of the year. We are mixing up the lineup card a little bit with Jose Ramirez leading off, and we've got Marte and Bell shortly after because they've been our 2 best bats in the playoffs. So the Blue Jays are starting Nate Pearson, who has not pitched in a Major League game all year. He was in the minor leagues this season, so I don't know why they're having him on for an elimination game, especially when I think Alek Manoah has enough stamina to probably go through 5, 6, 7 innings, and he dominated in Game 1 against Cleveland. So that's a very questionable decision by Toronto, but Pearson does strike out Jose Ramirez. In 2022, Pearson's last season in the majors, he had an ERA above 8. So, again, this feels very odd, but he's looking good so far as he strikes out Josh Bell, who was fantastic in the past 2 games in Cleveland. That'll bring up Ketel Marte, who's been great throughout the entire playoffs, had the big 3-run homer in Game 4. That one goes off the wall in left field. Ketel Marte picking up right where he left off, but he's gunned down at second. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. guns him down from left field, and the top half of the inning comes to an abrupt close. Let's go to the bottom half of the inning. As I said, the Guardians are rocking with Camilo Doval as their starting pitcher. Doval's probably going to only go for an inning or 2, and he has not pitched since Game 2, in which he actually allowed the winning run in the bottom of the 13th inning. We could have gone for one of our regular starters, but I don't think Adbert Alzolay is really good enough to pitch here in a Game 5 situation. Tristan McKenzie hasn't pitched all that great so far in the playoffs, and Shane Bieber's arm is literally about to fall off. So here's Bo Bichette striking out on the 2-seam fastball. If Doval can make it through this first inning pretty quickly, maybe he can get through 2 innings. That might not happen here if a Raimel Tapia single into center field. Tapia started the series off very slowly, but he was fantastic in Game 4. He had a 3-run homer, and he also had a ridiculous defensive play later in the game. Tapia steals second, throw offline from Campusano. So now the Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's got a great opportunity to drive him in here with a base hit. Count is 2-2. Pitch on his way from Duvall. Grounded to third. Ramirez makes the play. Tapia will retreat back to second. So now Toronto's going to need a base hit here if they want to keep the inning alive. It's Teoscar Hernandez who strikes out on the slider. Good inning for Camilo Duvall. We'll see if Cleveland keeps him out for another inning or if they go to one of their other relievers or maybe one of their starters. Top of the second now. Eddie Rosario leads the inning off. He draws a walk. So Rosario is aboard, and Cleveland has their first base runner of the game. That'll bring up Franmil Reyes, who still only has one base hit the entire series. He strikes out on the circle change. Nice pitch from Nate Pearson, who looks pretty good so far, I'm not going to lie. 2 away now for the catcher, Luis Campusano. He goes down looking on the four-seam fastball. Another good inning for Nate Pearson. We go to the bottom of the second where Cleveland will make a pitching change, and they are going to pull one of their starters out of the bullpen. It's not Shane Bieber, it's actually Tristan McKenzie. The whole plan was that McKenzie was going to pitch more than anybody today, but we wanted to start Duvall to throw Toronto off. Don't let them expect your next move. We're treating this like a start for Tristan McKenzie, and we hope he can go 5-6 innings and pitch well. But his day does not start off great as Lourdes Gurriel Jr. singles into center field. That'll bring up Matt Chapman, who strikes out on the splitter. Chapman homered twice in the Game 4 loss against Cleveland. Kuate Lemia up. He grounds it to short. Jimenez can only get the out at first because Gurriel was running to second. That was a hit-and-run play there by Toronto, and it directly keeps the inning alive. They're going to need a base hit here from Adam Frazier to drive the runner in as he hits this one nicely in the left. Rosario cannot make the play. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. will score, and the Blue Jays lead this game 1-0 off of an RBI double by Adam Frazier. So it's Toronto who strikes first. A big hit for Frazier, and the Blue Jays now have the lead. We look at this one again. He didn't hit that one all that well, but Rosario was unable to get to it in time, and Gurriel was able to score pretty easily. So the Blue Jays open up with the lead, 1-0. That'll bring up the catcher, Alejandro Kirk, who strikes out on the four-seam fastball. Not a great start for McKenzie as he does allow a run, and hopefully he can pitch a little bit better in the coming innings. It's been another slow start for the Cleveland offense. We'll see if that can change here in the third with 2 away. Jose Ramirez strikes out. So Nate Pearson, who hasn't pitched a Major League game in well over a year, is dominating through 3 innings. And I think it's fair to be a little bit concerned now with how Cleveland is swinging the bat. Hopefully they can pick it up like they did in Game 4, but man, this does not look good. Bottom of the third, Raimel Tapia strikes out of a four-seam fastball. Tristan McKenzie painting the corners for his third strikeout of the game. And then against Vladimir Guerrero Jr., there's number 4. Good inning for McKenzie. It's a 1-2-3. Both pitchers looking good there in the third. We move to the top of the fourth. Can this be the changing of the guard for the Guardians? No pun intended. That's a good start. Bell hits that one into the opposite field, likely for extra bases. It'll be a double as he slides into second, barely safe. Lourdes Gurriel nearly threw out another base runner. So now there's a runner on second here for Ketel Marte. Count is 1-2. Pitch on its way from Pearson, and Marte rips this one into right field for a base hit. Bell will hold up at third. That proves to be the right decision. So there's now runners on the corners and nobody out. A big opportunity here for Eddie Rosario. As long as he puts the ball in play, Cleveland should score. That's going to be hit well into center. Raimel Tapia should be able to catch it. Josh Bell's probably going to head home here on the sac fly. Tapia launches a beauty. Bell would have been easily out, so he tries to go back to third. He's tagged out by Chapman. Then Marte tries to go to second. He's in a run down, and the Blue Jays just turned a triple play. Yeah, we had runners on the corners with nobody out, and we scored nobody thanks to a triple play. Okay, I know you guys probably think I'm an idiot for how that transpired. Let me explain to you what happened. So off the sacrifice fly, I assumed Josh Bell was going to be safe. That's why we sent him. I was able to tell pretty early on he would not have been safe. So we sent him back to third, and in doing so, I wanted to throw Toronto off, get Ketel Marte to second, and obviously that backfired in a major way. So, yeah, triple play, not fun. Bottom of the fourth now, still 1-0. Here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who has been unstoppable the past couple of games, and it's odd because through the first 3 games of the ALDS, Gurriel could not get a base hit to save his life, and now through games 4 and game 5 now, he is swinging the bat very well. 2 for 2 today. Matt Chapman now strikes out on the 12-6 curve. Campusano throws him out at first. Tristan McKenzie, I think, all things considered, has been pretty good today as he faces off against Kuate Lamia. I might have just jinxed McKenzie. He singles into center. Throw from Valera is not in time, so it's an RBI single. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. scores for the second time today, and the Blue Jays lead 2-0. Big base hit there for the rookie, Lamia. That'll bring up Adam Frazier with 2 away, grounded to short. Jimenez will tag the base. So the Blue Jays score another run. And again, there's plenty of time. The Guardians have done well the past couple of games when they've been down by a few late in the ball game. And they're going to need another comeback here in Game 5 as they trail 2-0. It's time for the offense to do something, and that's a good start. Franmil Reyes draws a walk. The 5th inning in Game 4 is where Cleveland's offense really exploded. Hopefully they can do the same here in Game 5 as George Valera strikes out on the curveball. Nice pitch from Pearson, his 6th K of the day. That'll bring up Luis Campusano, the catcher, grounds it to first. What a play by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and the Blue Jays are going to turn 2. Guerrero dives and deflects the ball with his body, tags the base while on his stomach, and then throws out the runner. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Look who it is on the mound. It's Shane Bieber. I know his arm is about to fall off, but our season is literally on the line. That's exactly what we said in Games 3 and 4 when we brought him out of a bullpen, and that's the case again here. Hopefully we can get 2 to 3 innings out of him without his arm falling off. Kirk hits it into right, and it's caught by Naylor! What a catch to start the inning by Josh Naylor, the Game 4 hero. He's had a few really impressive plays defensively in the outfield throughout these playoffs, making another one here. An unbelievable diving catch for Josh Naylor, preventing a base hit to start the inning from Alejandro Kirk. Hopefully Bieber can build some momentum off of that as he faces off against Bo Bichette and strikes him out on the circle change. I know Bieber's going through some pain right now. He's a real trooper for sticking it out here and pitching in a 3rd straight game. Tapia with 2 away, flies it into right, caught by Naylor. I know it's not looking good through 5 innings, but I really feel like the bottom of the 5th gave our team some energy. Seeing Shane Bieber pitch again and to show how much he wants it along with that really nice catch by Naylor, hopefully he can light a spark. Or Andres Jimenez swinging it, pitches way out of the zone. 2 away now for Jose Ramirez, who is 0 for 2 today in what could be his final game as a Guardian with his contract up at the end of the year. Gets a pitch he likes, swings too early, ground out to first. So through 6 innings, Nate Pearson, who, again, mind you, has not pitched in the majors in over a year, is working a shutout in an elimination playoff game. Here's Lourdes Gurriel Jr. with 2 away, singles into right as Bella's not able to make the play. So Gurriel is aboard. That's the first base runner Bieber has allowed. Now facing off against Matt Chapman, who rips this one into the right center gap. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has scored both of Toronto's runs today. He's looking to make it a 3rd. The throw from Jimenez to the plate is in time. They gun him down. It was George Valera in center to the cutoff man, Andres Jimenez, who guns down Lourdes Gurriel Jr. at the plate. Still 2-0 here with 3 innings to go. Now is the time to start a rally. Cleveland has done a good job of coming back in Games 3 and 4. They need another one here in Game 5. That starts with Josh Bell, who singles up the middle into center. Once again, like really every other game in this series, Josh Bell and Ketel Marte have been the only consistent positives on offense. Here's Marte once again, rips it up the middle for a base hit. Josh Bell and Ketel Marte are again aboard. They continue to be fantastic at the plate, but the other guys got to step up right here, right now, and that begins with Eddie Rosario, who's probably been the best hitter on this team, not named Josh Bell or Ketel Marte. He strikes out on the fastball, very frustrated with himself. That'll now bring up Franmil Reyes as the Blue Jays make a pitching change. Dominic Leone will replace Nate Pearson. Pearson had an unbelievable start on the mound today. So here is Reyes. All he has to do is not ground into a double play, just keep the inning alive. 5, tag, 3. Yeah, that's a double play. That's going to end the inning. How many double and I guess triple plays have Toronto had today? It's been at least like 3. So we go to the bottom of the 7th. Shane Bieber's still in for a 3rd inning. He starts with Kouate Lamia, who drove in a run in his last at-bat. Lamia with a big swing and a miss, and he is hurt. When I saw the injury thing pop up, my heart sank. I thought Shane Bieber's arm literally fell off its socket. So luckily that's not the case. Samad Taylor will come in to replace Kouate Lamia, and then on the very next pitch, 1-2 count, Taylor strikes out. Shane Bieber still mowing down the lineup here as he now faces off against Adam Frazier. He drove in a run back in the 2nd inning. 2-1 pitch. Rips that one nicely into center. It'll go for a hit. So Frazier is aboard. We'll see if Toronto can look to drive him in and extend the lead. That'll bring up Alejandro Kirk, who strikes out on the knuckle curve. I feel like Kirk has been an automatic strikeout for much of this series. He has really not given Toronto much value at the plate. And then Bo Bichette will weakly pop this one into left. Rosario under it. We move to the 8th inning. It's still 2-0. Again, if Cleveland wants to start a comeback, now would be the ideal time to do so. So let's go into the top of the 8th inning. We'll see if the Guardians can finally get something going. The lefty, Scott Alexander, is in for Toronto. 3 of Cleveland's next 4 hitters are left-handed, so I see why they made this move. But both George Valera and Andres Jimenez are actually better against lefties. Not going to matter if Valera flies out to left. He hit the ball actually fairly well, but another rough game for Valera as he is now 0 for 4. That'll bring up the catcher, Luis Campusano. He's going to single into center. Okay, there we go. Campusano is aboard. The tying run is at the plate. Can Cleveland get something going here now? They've got a runner on base. That'll bring up Josh Naylor, who swings at a pitch out of the zone for strike 3. The Blue Jays are 4 outs away from winning. That would bring up Andres Jimenez, but he'll be replaced by Jalen Davis, the pinch hitter. Davis hits lefties very well. That's why we are putting him into the ball game here. 1-2 pitch. Grounds this one to short. Bichette flips it over to second. That's Frazier who makes the play. Another good inning for Toronto. And Cleveland has to, go into the bottom of the 9th inning down by at least 2, maybe more. We'll see what the Toronto offense can do against James Karinchak, who replaces Shane Bieber. And his first batter, Raimel Tapia, is going to hit a dinger into right field. Okay, not a good start. Tapia goes deep for a 2nd straight game. You could make the argument that we should have kept Bieber in because he was rolling, but again, I don't want to literally kill him. However, it's not going to matter if the Blue Jays are going to completely rake off of James Karinchak, as there's a double into right field for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and the Blue Jays have another runner in scoring position. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Teoscar Hernandez. Rips that one past Bell, who cannot make the play. Everybody's running away from the ball. What is happening? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. should score, and it's now 4-0. Nobody called for the ball there between first, second, and right. One of those guys has to call for the ball. I mean, this isn't, complex major league stuff. This is something you learn in Little League when you're 8 years old. Call for the ball. And to make matters worse, why were they all running away from it? For acting like the ball has, Ebola or something in it. So Clase is going to be replacing James Karinchak, who did not record a single out. At this point, I'm figuring Cleveland just needs to put their best pitcher in the game to get through this inning as he strikes out Lourdes Gurriel Jr. to start things off. That'll bring up Matt Chapman now. Full count pitch. He draws a walk on the slider. So Chapman is now aboard. Runners on first and second here for Samad Taylor, remaining in the game after replacing Kouate Lamia as he goes down on the slider as well. Clase's second K of the day. He faces off now against Adam Frazier, who draws a walk. So the Blue Jays have loaded the bases. They can pretty much end the game here if they want to with Alejandro Kirk. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss on the cutter. So Clase gets out of the jam, leading the bases loaded, but Cleveland scores 2 off of a homer by Raimel Tapia, and then some defensive issues from first, second, and right. Top of the 9th inning, this is it. The top 3 hitters in the order, Ramirez, Bell, and Marte, due up for Cleveland as Ryan Stanek comes in to finish off the game, his 4th appearance here in the ALDS. We start with Jose Ramirez, 0 for 3, really not hitting the ball well today or in this entire series. He's going to pop this one into center. Raimel Tapia under it, and he will make the play. And Cleveland now is down to their final 2 outs of the season. That'll bring up Josh Bell, 2 for 3 today, having himself another solid game. The 1-1 pitch. Bell rips it into left field for a home run. Cleveland is not going to lead this game easy. I know it's not looking good, but they want to win this one, and they're going to die trying. Bell with his second home run of the postseason, and it's 4-1. Good swing there by Josh Bell. Hopefully that can ignite a spark in the Cleveland offense. A big home run there for Bell. Maybe it's going to be too little too late, but hopefully that can lead to something. That'll bring up Ketel Marte, who is 3 for 3 today. Grounds this one to short. Bichette quickly over to make the play, and he gets the out at first. So now Cleveland is down to their final out of the game. It's Eddie Rosario, who's been pretty good throughout the playoffs. And the Blue Jays actually want a lefty in to face off against Rosario, which, again, makes sense. But Rosario does hit lefties pretty well. So we start here with a 1-1 count. We're going to go through the whole at-bat here since, it is pretty suspenseful. The season's on the line. Rosario chases a slider outside. Can't be swinging at junk here. And now the Guardians are down to their final strike. The 1-2 pitch. Another slider outside. Rosario holds. Count now evens back up at 2-2. Pitch on its way from Tim Maeza. Rosario weakly hits this one over to second. Frazier, the play to Guerrero is in time, and the Toronto Blue Jays have won Game 5 of the ALDS. They will send Cleveland packing and are advancing to the ALCS, where they will face off against either the Houston Astros or the New York Yankees. And with that, our Cleveland Guardians Season 2 will come to an end. Certainly not the ending to the year that we had hoped for, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The offense really throughout this entire postseason series played horribly. The pitching was fine, but they weren't really consistent other than Shane Bieber. And even though we didn't play well, I've got to say the effort was always there. I mean, minus that defensive blunder we just had in the 8th inning, I don't think you can question our guys' effort, but you can question how we swung the bat. Other than Josh Bell and Ketel Marte, who have been the only two guys to step up at the plate for us in the postseason, the rest of the team had a combined total of 1 hit. And we weren't even drawing walks today. We only drew 2 walks the entire game. As for the pitching, gotta commend Shane Bieber. He pitched over 15 innings here in the postseason, finishes with a 2.9 ERA and a sub-1 whip. Just unbelievable stuff from the American League Cy Young, but only one player can carry your team so far. 4 runs, 11 hits for Toronto. The big story here, Nate Pearson, 6 1/3 innings, not allowing any runs with 8 strikeouts. He pitched out of his mind. So that's going to wrap up the season. Nate Pearson's already back in AAA. Yeah, isn't that funny? So after one historically great postseason appearance, they're going to bring him back down to the minor leagues. So as we look at the ALCS and the NLCS, we've got Toronto and the Yankees, and then the Brewers and the Dodgers. All 5 division series went 5 games. The Yankees beat the Angels 3-0. The Dodgers beat the Cardinals 5-2. The Brewers beat the Braves 6-2. And obviously, we lost to Toronto 4-1. So let's recap the season real quick. Let's recap this postseason run. A lot of great things happened this year. Franmil Reyes winning Cy Young, even though he was garbage in the playoffs. Shane Bieber was excellent during the regular season and the postseason. We had other guys win awards like Jose Ramirez, who, again, we've got a big decision on with the contract. And maybe most importantly of all, I think we have a franchise-level superstar with George Valera, who had an unbelievable rookie season. Was he good in the playoffs? No, he was not, but he's 22 years old, and I'm confident he's going to turn it around. So, to talk about this team as a whole through the playoffs, it's no secret the offense was flat out bad. I mean, look at some of these batting averages. Ramirez, 133. Reyes, 056. Jimenez, 0. Valera, 143. I mean, only Ketel Marte and Josh Bell can carry your offense so far. As we look at our team statistics through the playoffs, 191 batting average, not good, by far the worst among the teams who made it out of the wild card round. We had the least amount of runs for the teams who made it out of the wild card round. I'm not counting the Padres and Astros because they only played 1 game. We had the least amount of hits, only averaging 6 hits per game. We were tied for last in home runs. We were obviously last in RBIs. We were first in walks, of course, with 32. We had nearly the same amount of walks as hits. Strikeouts, we were towards the bottom. Again, not good. Slugging percentage at the bottom. On base percentage, we were 3rd somehow. I know we had a ton of walks, but still, that's kind of a surprise. So with that high on base percentage, I figured, why is the offense so bad? Well, I think it's how we played with runners in scoring position. That was the issue. I did the math. As a team, we went 7 for 44 with runners in scoring position. That's a 159 batting average with runners in scoring position. To make matters worse, if you do not count in Ketel Marte and Josh Bell, the team was 2 for 34, or a .058 average. If you remove Eddie Rosario with that, along with Bell and Marte, everybody else went 0 for 25 with runners in scoring position. Just flat out horrendous stuff from most of the offense. As for the pitching, I feel like we pitched pretty well. We certainly pitched well enough to win the series. I wouldn't say we pitched perfectly, but I think our pitching did enough to win more times than not. The problem is the offense had a complete meltdown and forgot how to hit the baseball the past 5 games. We finished surprisingly low in ERA. I figured we would have been a little bit better. We were towards the middle in hits. We were towards the middle in runs allowed. Earned runs, we were again towards the bottom though, which again is kind of a surprise. We did not have any errors, although that defensive blunder in the 8th inning of Game 5 should count. Towards the bottom in home runs, towards the top in walks, which is good. Obviously, Toronto finished in dead last. We also had the most amount of strikeouts as well at 62. The Blue Jays finished tied for second. So it's been a very fun year. We won 90 games. We won the division. We had a really nice fight here with the Blue Jays here in the ALDS, but unfortunately, it was not enough to move on. So let's look at the rest of the playoffs here as the Blue Jays sweep the Yankees in the ALCS. Shout out to Toronto. It looks like their pitching was, again, really, really good. As for the other series between the Dodgers and Brewers, it ended up going 7 games, but the Dodgers ultimately won. So we've got a Dodgers and Brewers World Series. I noticed, by the way, in Game 7, the Brewers scored 3 in the 9th, and the Dodgers walked it off. Based on the box score, I was able to tell that it was an RBI double from Yuli Martinez, who is actually a subscriber-made international free agent, which is pretty cool. So going into the World Series, they split the first 2 games. The Blue Jays take Game 3, the Dodgers take Game 4, and Game 5, and Game 6. The Dodgers win the World Series, defeating Toronto in 6 games. Teoscar Hernandez and Cody Bellinger win postseason MVPs for the AL and NL respectively, and Chris Taylor takes home the World Series MVP. So the Dodgers win their 2nd straight World Series, their 3rd in the last 4 years, and that brings us to the offseason. We've got a lot of big decisions to make with guys like Ramirez, Rosario, Josh Bell, free agents. I know it says Bieber and Franmil Reyes are free agents. That's not true. They've got another year under contract, so don't worry about that. But we've got a number of really big decisions to make here for the future of our ball club, and it should be quite interesting. I hope everybody enjoyed the episode, even though it was not the result that we had hoped for. Make sure to like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.